Ever feel like you're drowning in a sea of marketing tools trying to keep your business running smoothly? What if you could simplify it all with one platform? That's where Go High Level comes in, your all-in-one sales and marketing solution built for small businesses like you. In fact, Go High Level has over 1 million users just like you. With Go High Level, you can capture leads, automate your prospect and client journeys, quickly and efficiently build stunning websites, sales pages, and sales funnels. Imagine managing your CRM, email, SMS, and funnels without duct taping a dozen tools together. Plus, their unlimited plan lets you add as many contacts and users as you need, no hidden fees. We've been using Go High Level for over a year now and absolutely love it. In fact, Profit First Nation is also powered by Go High Level. Ready to level up? Start your Profit First Nation extended 30-day free trial today at www.gohighlevel.com/Profit First Nation. That's www.gohighlevel.com/Profit First Nation. Streamline your workflow, impress your clients, and grow smarter, not harder.
Welcome to Profit First Nation, the official podcast for entrepreneurs who are operating their businesses in the zone of permanent profitability. I'm Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First, and now here's your Profit First Nation guide, Danielle Mulvey.
Welcome to Profit First Nation, my entrepreneurial friends. Today is episode 141, and we are going to be playing like a champion today and what it takes to really knock it out of the park when it comes to being an entrepreneur and being a profitable entrepreneur. You know, sometimes having a battle cry or a motivating idea in your head every day is important. So maybe if you're watching on video, you saw the Play Like a Champion, which is, straight from Notre Dame and what the players touch every day when they hit the field at practice and at games. This actually hangs in our house, out in our kitchen. So, you know, when our family piles out for the day, they walk by this. I can't say that everyone touches it every day and such, but it's a constant reminder that, you know, when the Mulveys hit the streets, it's time to play like a champion today. And so we are going to talk about strategies and concepts that you can implement in your business, for yourself and for your team, that will allow you guys to show up and play like champions every day. This episode is actually titled Seize the Day and Take Your Vitamin C. So another sort of motivational play on words and such. And actually, again, if you're on video and you're seeing the image here, it says seize the day and elevate your state. So this is another reminder in our kitchen to my family. Gosh, my children are so lucky to have an entrepreneurial mom, aren't they? But we're going to talk about what it means. You know, every day matters in your business. And so it's so important that you approach every day with intention, right? I find so many business owners end up going into their day with little to no intention and just kind of like being at the ready for the fires that they need to address or put out, et cetera. And what happens is they're operating their business in a reactionary mode and not in intentional and proactive mode. So we want to shift that thinking that you are going to seize every day as an intentional day with opportunity, and you're going to take your vitamin C. So we'll talk about what that means later on in today's episode. But for today's resources, you can go to profitfirstnation.com/141 and get all of the resources that you're seeing on video here, as well as what we're going to talk you through. So, you know, we are on video now. We are on YouTube. So if you want some fun and to see what I look like talking through this podcast and each episode, then join us on YouTube at Profit First Nation. But of course, I walk you through, if you're driving in your car, we set you up for success, and we have all of the resources available to everyone. And so now you'll just go to the episode number. So profitfirstnation.com/ this episode 141. So profitfirstnation.com/141. Let's dive in. So when we talk about creating your days with intention, it really comes down to having an ideal schedule for your week where you are prioritizing what is the most important thing in your business. There's probably multiple things. There's key responsibilities that you have. There are key drivers to your business's profitability, sales, revenue, all those great and fun and exciting things that will, increase your profitability and help you build more cash flow in your business. I hate to break it to you, but a recession is coming. So it's time to batten down the hatches. Let's get real serious about this. So we have a template for you of how to model out your ideal schedule. But I also am sharing with you my schedule from Q2 of 2023. So every quarter, depending upon what the priorities are on that quarter, what we're working on business-wise, which business is sort of taking the lead on strategic projects and such, gives me that planning period to make my ideal schedule for the quarter. And so, in this schedule, what you're seeing is I start my day sprinting. I lead sprints with other entrepreneurs, and this is a guaranteed golden hour for me to spend quiet time, 1 hour working on my business. It's a bit of magic because there's accountability. We're showing up as a group, and I've got intention, and I've got a plan. So I'll do either a 5-day plan for the sprint, or I'll do a 10-day plan. So if I'm working on something that's going to take me a little bit longer, but I start with what is the result that I want to get at the end of the 5th day or at the end of the 10th day. And then I reverse engineer it and say, okay, this is what I need to be doing each day in order to get to that 5th day or that 10th day result. Then I've got to block out time, taking my daughter to school. This schedule has changed now that she's in high school and goes further away. But, I'm looking at that as well. And then we've got our daily vitamin C. So we'll go into that in a little bit later. Maybe you've heard of a daily huddle. In our organization, we call it the vitamin C, but SEE. And that is where everyone shares kind of what their plan was for the day prior and what got accomplished, and then what their plan is for the current day. And we use Planner. And again, we'll go into that momentarily after we get through my ideal schedule here. And then what comes next is we spend a little time. I'm available to the team after the vitamin C to give feedback, answer questions, look at some projects. That's where the C, SEE comes from in vitamin C. Then I move into Supply Patriot mode, our construction material supply business. I touch base with that group in their daily huddle and look at the numbers for the day. Depending upon the day of the week, I'm either, working on Patriot RN stuff, doing some consulting, but my time is blocked out and it's very intentional, and I am filling my schedule based off of this plan. Now, what was interesting in this is I had flow time that I was able to bank in during my day. My flow time has changed now in this quarter, but this was kind of a real treat for me to put in the flow time. And what flow time is just some extra time to really kind of like dig into things, do some reading, do some research. It's more than the sprint. The sprint is 1 hard hour of working on your business. And flow is kind of, just getting into a groove, getting into a zone. What is it going to take? Do I need to read some things? Do I need to look at some things? Do I need to watch some things to get inspired and kind of work from there? Then obviously you see my work on the podcast and when I was recording that. And then I end my day picking up Emerson. But as you can see too, I am counting what are my revenue generating activities? So based off the color coding, I've counted my revenue generating activities and time per week, whether I'm leading the all-in power hours or doing the all-in content development and such. Everything is accounted for, and what am I doing that is really producing revenue for the business in a direct way. Now, the ideal schedule is so important for you, but you know what? It's also a great tool to use when you're looking at bringing someone on, right? I find that most entrepreneurs, they're, either second, third, or fourth hire. One of their initial hires in their companies is an executive assistant or virtual assistant or some sort of assistant. Well, I'm going to say one thing, that you don't want a corporate executive assistant. So if someone who has a corporate executive assistant background is not going to be suited to work for an entrepreneur. A corporate executive assistant is really more of a gatekeeper. It's kind of a cush job, to be honest. It is, keeping things at bay, being at the beck and call when the CEO calls on that person, but it's a pretty light job. And it's again, just gatekeeping and keeping people at bay and keeping people away from the senior executive. Entrepreneurs are really looking for like a right-hand person, someone who can, offload the stuff to that is not suited for you, that is, the tedious things that you need to do, the things that have to get done, but aren't a good use of your time as the owner of the firm. And so you're looking for a different person. So what you want to do when you go to hire an assistant is really map out what their schedule should look like, because you're paying them to do what you need them to do. So map it out. What do you need them to do? How frequently do you need them to do it? And when do you expect them to do it? So we have a sample of an assistant's ideal schedule here in the resources. And, ideally, they're going to start the day in the email box, and they're going to end the day in the email box, and maybe wrapping up some quick less than 10 minutes to-dos that can be knocked out from what's happened in the email. But, they're focusing on just getting it done, getting it checked off the list so that it's off of your plate and you're not having to worry about that. But then obviously they're aligning too, because they're going to be participating in some of the same meetings as you, either taking notes or, doing the things that are the takeaways after the meeting happens. So it's important for them to be in those meetings too. So in this case, for my admin, I need them to literally be my right hand. I need them to be shadowing me for most of the day so that they really kind of know what's going on, and they can kind of also to help, I'll say this, babysit the team in terms of what needs to happen. But I really need the help with doing the to-dos, the little things that get done, when we're in it all in Power 30, and I say, okay, well, yes, we'll send that resource to you. I'm not going to send it. The admin is going to send it. My right-hand person is going to send it and such. But also too, it's tracking, like, what are the key responsibilities? We want to make things productive. We want to make things, a return on payroll, right? So you want to track, again, like, how many hours are they doing this? Now, once you get this ideal schedule done, now you're in a position to maybe write that job description and start advertising and posting for this hire, and really clearing the expectations of, listen, I'm expecting you to, be taking care of email about 10 hours a week. I'm expecting you to, be shadowing in meetings for so many hours a week, et cetera. I need you to handle my to-dos in X number of hours a week. So, this person knows, hey, like I've got some serious responsibilities and there's going to be accountability for me here. So ideal schedules are great for any new hire, to really kind of map out and help them keep on track in terms of, especially when they're starting out, okay, what should I be doing? What should I be working on? Which leads me to the vitamin C. So in our team, we've depending upon the team. So we either do a daily huddle, and in the daily huddle, that's where we start with a celebration of the day. The team goes around. Here are the 3 things I did yesterday. Here are the 3 things I'm going to do today. We're not necessarily problem solving. If there's something that comes up that needs discussion, we say, okay, we'll take that offline after this meeting, et cetera. So it goes quick. It should be less than 10 minutes. But we also are doing a vitamin C, which is SEE, in one of our other companies where we have a lot more going on, a lot more moving parts. Things aren't so routine. So in our construction supply business, things are pretty routine. In our claims processing business, things are pretty routine. But in the all-in company, wow, we have a lot of fun and exciting things going on and a lot of different unique projects in the pipeline. And so the vitamin C is something that we use by using Microsoft SharePoint, and we're using the planner system for that. And so what happens is the team comes in and they map out their day individually with time blocks. So, there is a sense of an ideal schedule here, but because we have some remote, we're a remote team, and people are starting at different time zones, they're kind of mapping out their day based off the time zone. And so when we have our vitamin C, we pull this up, we can see what the plan was. How did the plan go when they report the next day? And then also too, we can, click into these boxes, and then we can actually see links to see with our eyes, the progress and the work that's being done. And so, we're keeping the ball moving. It's accountability. And what's funny is, a lot of people are like, oh, my team's not going to like this. Oh, I don't want to do it, but you absolutely have to do it. When we implemented this, we kind of upgraded from the daily huddle because we had so many projects going on and my time was limited. So I really kind of needed the organization to be able to see exactly the progress that they were making. So, we might not go through, we definitely don't go through everything, but I can go in here after hours and, actually click in and see with my eyes, the progress being made, et cetera, and give feedback, on the pertinent projects and what's going on. So it really helps me keep a pulse on what's going on. So when we converted to this, I have to admit, I was a little bit like, well, either they're going to love it or they're going to hate it. And if they hate it, sayonara, goodbye. But actually, they all really love it because, they can't believe how much they're accomplishing in a day. And so they really get this sense of wow. And I'm also giving them credit for all that they're doing in the day. And by seeing it and sharing it, we've got that accountability factor, but we also have that wow factor and that appreciation factor that I can layer in on top of what's going on. So, I'm not going to hire people who just want to collect a paycheck and don't want to make their days productive. So yeah, this isn't for everyone. It's not for the 1, 2, 3-star employees. It's not for the average ho-hum or worse employees. This is for 5-star employees. And so if you're wanting to maximize your return on payroll, if you're wanting to maximize your profitability, you've got to have 5-star employees who are willing, able, and excited to really have a map and intention for their day every day. All right. So some tips here for you on really how to make this work. So I've got 8 tips to just, help you along here to solidify implementing a vitamin C in your organization. So the first thing is you have to make this like numero uno. This is non-negotiable. I put in parentheses in my notes that you can make this numero dos. So I like to say numero uno is sprinting on your business. Numero dos is the vitamin C for your team and holding that meeting every single day. Now, of course, it's every damn day that you need to do this. But if you fall off, if there's a day or two that it doesn't happen, that's okay. It happens the next day. Just like if you fell off your bike, you get back on your bike and you keep riding. If you fall off the horse, you get back on the horse and you keep riding. All right. Nothing is perfect and that is okay. But we keep going back. We keep doing it. We keep getting stronger. We keep building that muscle. And then it just really becomes habit. But you have to decide that this is numero uno or numero dos in your organization. And so it happens every damn day. Number 3 is you really have to honor this as like the linchpin to your business. This is going to be what makes or breaks your business. If your business is just being reactionary, if your employees are just kind of waiting to see what rolls in the day, then they're going to get distracted. They're going to be focused on the urgent but not important when they need to be focused on the most important things in the business, the revenue drivers of your business. And that comes back to that ideal schedule and having your day set out with intention. So this is the linchpin of your business. When you do this, you will crush your competition. You will be playing like a champion every day. Number 4, you have to push the discomfort because only when we get pushed outside of our comfort zone is when we grow. And so this is continually making that push outside the comfort zone and that push for growth, that push for not being satisfied with just the status quo and just being, waiting for something to happen. This is being proactive. This is pushing the ball down the field to the end zone. Number 5, you need to measure the vitamin C against ideal schedules. So again, we have this ideal schedule and the plan for each day, the vitamin C for each day needs to mirror as closely as possible the ideal schedule. And then that leads me to number 6. You just have to say no if it hijacks your ideal schedule. The answer is no. No is a complete sentence. And you have to be strong on that no. Yes, you will disappoint people, but you have to remember that you can never please everyone 100% of the time. And you have to be okay with that. And, I would say that this has been probably one of the hardest parts for me is I'm such a pleaser. And I love to say yes to everyone, even if it means I have to wake up at 1 a.m. to get something done. But that only lasts for so long. And so it's really important that if it's going to hijack what's going on, then the answer is no, right? We don't want to hijack against our ideal schedule. Number 7, you've got to put distractions. You've got to put the not important items in a long-term parking lot. All right. You should have a list, and we'll have a sample of this and it filled out in the resources as well for you. But you need to have a place to put everything for the week. And so it's out of your head and it's somewhere. And so, if there's something that's just kind of like, okay, it's got to get out of my head, but I don't need to do it. this week. I might not even need to do it next week. I just need to get it out of my head. I put it in a long-term parking lot. And you know what? To be honest, not everything gets done. And it's okay if that thing sits in the long-term parking lot forever. Parking's free in the long-term parking lot. All right. And the final principle or, thing to make this work, number 8 on the list, is to make a battle cry. That is your mantra. That is what you do. Are you going to play like a champion today, or are you going to play like a chump and just let the day hijack you and happen to you instead of playing like a champion with a plan and intention? Are you going to seize the day and take your vitamin C? Really try to put a positive spin on this and create the mantra, create the battle cry, create this is what it takes. And this is what we're going to do as an organization to continually push us and distance us from our competition, who are just going to keep doing what everyone else is doing. Let the day happen to them, blah, 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 blah. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, you can get this resource at Profit First Nation. All of the resources we discussed today, all of the editable files, etc., at profitfirstnation.com/141. If you would like to work with a certified Profit First professional accountant, bookkeeper, or coach, then please go to profitfirstnation.com and click on Contact. Cheers to another profitable day, my entrepreneurial friend.
Thanks for tuning in to the Profit First Nation podcast. We hope you found today's episode valuable and that it's inspired you to take action towards achieving permanent profitability in your business. If you want to learn more about how to implement Profit First in your business and connect with a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, be sure to visit us at profitfirstnation.com to download our how-to guides and resources. Remember, permanent profitability is within your reach, and we're here to support you every step of the way. So let's do Profit First right together.
Profit First Nation website, related podcasts, and videos are provided for general information purposes only and do not constitute accounting, legal, tax, or other professional advice. Visitors should not act upon the content or information found here without first seeking appropriate advice from an accountant, financial planner, lawyer, or other professional.
Hey, this is Ro. And if you're a business owner struggling with hiring or just tired of doing it yourself, I highly recommend the Build Your Dream Team Secret Podcast series. There are 7 episodes packed with real stories from founders who've cracked the code on hiring, built high-performing teams, and finally got out of the day-to-day grind. My favorite part? It's not fluff. It's systems, strategy, and results. Text DREAM to 55444. That's DREAM to 55444 to check it out. You'll thank me later.